Hello everybody, welcome to episode 65. This definitely should be 65, so I'm not going completely mad. Dan, is it 65?
I count on you to know these things, which I know is a shaky proposition.
Yes, because I always get it wrong. I'm going to go with this is episode 65 and be confident on the matter. Maybe I should have checked before I recorded. Ever the professional. Yes, but welcome to the Contest Round Podcast, episode 65. If you don't know already, we're available on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iTunes podcasts. All the various different things. So if you want to listen on where you want to listen, then do it. Follow, like, do all the stuff you meant to do. And if you don't know already, that person just speaking a moment ago was Dan of Frontline MCOC, who you can find at www.frontlinemcoc.home.blog. Links are always in the bio. And as well on Twitter under the handle at FrontlineMCOC. Dan, I hear you're under the weather. Poor you.
Yeah, playing a little hurt. You know, the world is opening up. We sent the kid back to preschool. So of course he brought a cold home for everybody. You know. Like he made it like 6 days, and like everyone got sick. Oh. It's fantastic, you know. Just a whole house just miserable and congested.
God damn.
But we're hanging in there. But yeah, it's it's always something, Rich.
Yeah,
it's always something.
It's worse. It's in the summer. You just kind of, I always think like colds, flu, summer. Well, no, after.
No, we're all playing catch up with that fun stuff.
It's always the way. Well, yeah. I'd like to say there's been a lot dropping this week. I mean, it's been the end of Grandmaster Gauntlet. We are now coming to the final points of the side quests. There's been, I think, a lot on offer for those that have been Thronebreaker and a little bit to a degree with those that are Cavalier, especially if you're doing up to 6 milestones. Which, look, I get for some people maybe like looking at the situation going like, oh, there's not really been much in the way from me, and that's the thing. Like, you know, last year, why do you think, Dan, that Kabam may have gone with the idea of with the Omega Quest last year? We had like all different types of progression tiles. Why do you think they might have gone away from that?
I think that this is a reaction to the narrative of probably the first quarter of the year that there was nothing for endgame players.
Yeah.
So I feel like anytime something like that really bubbles up, and they go hard the other way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening here, where they were like, all right, well, we had to fix for like sort of like the mid gamers. You know, we had to fix Act 6. We changed our design philosophy for Act 7, but that excluded the people who really, really want to push hard. So now it's all, you know, Thronebreaker for everything, and we're going to get into a little more with some of the other stuff we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's the big reaction, and I think it has the side benefit to them of saying, it's like, hey, if you want to do this, you need to be at the top progression title, so you should probably push.
Yeah, I think that was really seen in the last 12 months. We went with July 4th deals with a July weekend spectacular, which integrated
it was a spectacular.
It was. And we kind of like got this, Cavalier players at the time were able to kind of get, feel that they had a choice between 6-star shard acquisition and 5-star shard and 5 stars acquisition and stuff like that. So you had the both narratives. Right. But then after that, it was like, hey, Thronebreaker title. And then it's a case of going, right, Cyber Weekend, which was then 6 months-ish, or a little less than that later, is then seeing a different spin on things, where it's like, we're separating out, the Cavalier stuff isn't as good. What changed since July 4th? Well, Kabam want you to push towards your next progression, which I think that's definitely the kind of, as you said, and as I definitely agree, it's like the narrative going, yes, try your effort, become a Thronebreaker. That's going to be the best thing to do now.
Yeah, and we really saw that because you were Thronebreaker for Cyber Weekend, and I was Cavalier for Cyber Weekend, and it was a very different experience.
Yeah, I did kind of like say to myself, like, because I took a gamble, didn't I? I said like, all right, okay, I'm going to do Abyss of Legends. I'm going to do the initial completion of that and see what happens. And it was like, luckily it paid off, but that's the thing. It's all about Kabam saying, okay, we want more endgame players and we want people, and that's a fair point. It would encourage people maybe to either spend or use their units more. I feel like they're more kind of rewarded for what they're spending their units on, to see things like 6-star shards, 6-star rank up gems, things that are going to propel a roster forward, outward, or whatever. And that's, I can imagine, what we're going to see on July 4th, which I cannot believe is going to be next week. Well, it's not July. It's technically July 4th, but it's kind of like it will more than likely go live on a Friday, won't it? The 2nd.
I was wondering about that. Is it going to be like a July 4th weekend thing? Because it's like the 4th is on a Sunday, so I don't know if they're going to do like this Friday through Monday or Tuesday big thing, or it's just going to be that one day. Do you remember what they did last year?
I think it was the same concept as a Cyber Weekend, because it's like it kind of works out for Kabam and works out for us, because it's like Kabam get the best of both worlds because you're spending over the weekend for those that spend. And here's the thing, you don't have to spend on the game, and you don't have to use your units, but it's effectively your options are there between what deals are. But going like, okay, well, is over the weekend, you can spend your money over a weekend, and as well, you're not rushed to make a decision. So it's kind of like, as I said, it's the best of both worlds to have time to decide on what you want to buy or what you want to spend your units on if you're free to play. So I can imagine they'll go with that narrative for it.
Yeah, I'm looking at YouTube right now, and I'm seeing that the offers went live on July 3rd, and it does look like they were titled July 4th weekend.
Yeah.
I think they've just made too much money with these either 72, it's 3 or 4 day windows on these big offer deals. Like you said, like let people have time to make some decisions, and July 4th is usually their best deal of the year.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. And it's going to be a very telltale sign as to like how things go based on financial performance, but as well, I hope that there are some good deals for players this time, especially because Kabam have to learn the lessons of last well, not last year, but kind of cyber weekend.
Yeah, I think there's some lessons, especially for Cavalier players and the way that those deals need to be structured, because there was a lot of Cavalier players, that felt that they were kind of spinning their wheels with a lot of those offers, as far as the unit cash offers and then the actual paid offers. A lot of them were just constructed in a very weird way, where you had two items that did not really complement each other very well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I think, I know you and I talked about it a lot. I wrote a lot of feedback on that, wrote a lot of posts. I think Cam had some epic feedback on that as well. Like there was a lot of analysis of the last Cyber Weekend. In the interim, we've had the Deadpool's spring cleaning, which I think was pretty well received.
Yeah, there was a lot of free to play options available, or there was there's a free to play. There's something free for the player base in that, and that was good. But
there was a way to grind, and the deal construction made sense.
Yes.
So I think that when we're talking about July 4th, some people have expectations to the moon that we're going to be seeing rank 4 6 stars on July 4th. I don't know if I'm willing to go that far.
No, I think realistically, when I was talking to a few people, and again, if I'm being really realistic, it could be after the next Cyber Weekend. It just depends on several different bits of content that's going to be added in and kind of like grinded out. Like look, Karina's challenges, yes. The Grandmaster Gauntlet, yes. If you did it now, the or had done it, the Summer of Pain, yes. Act 7.2,
right.
Yes, okay. And then July 4th, yes. So there's 5 bits there. But again, you have to be completely certain of your spending, because that will kind of like tip the balance maybe in the spenders who are at the end game criteria. And as well, the way that I think Alliance War Seasons falls in as well. I think there's something in Master for the prizes. If there isn't, then it just means that, yes, we could see something, I don't know, start of fall, maybe. And if then we're seeing what Map 8 brings, then maybe realistically And a strong July 4th. Yeah, okay. I could definitely see a rank 4 6-star in the coming couple of months. But that would be really sort of realistic. It's just for me, and for me personally, I don't see it until end of year, like maybe like November, December time. Depends on what Cyber Weekend drops. But it's not something I'm overly interested in. I've started the early points of investment into it, especially like I bought a deal, I think, with the doubloons. So I was like, okay, well, I was in the market for units, and I was thinking like, I have all the 6-star champions I need at the moment. I have all the counters I need. For me, it's like, okay, well, I'll start the small building blocks to grabbing it by maybe earlier than November. But again, it feels very much like pissing in the wind. Like I don't know where it's going to land.
Right, exactly.
It's a terrible thing to say.
It's a lot of tier 3 alpha, a lot of tier 6 basic. Yeah. I mean, I hope that they've got a plan and that it's gonna come through some content completion rather than the deals. I mean, I totally understand that they're gonna sell this stuff. I mean, it's just part of the game. I think we've seen a lot of, back and forth recently about free to play and like we've got to understand the game's going to be monetized in some way. It's always pay to go faster. Like this is nothing. This is nothing new. We've seen this movie before where they sell chase resources. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not as fussed about rank 4s right now. Yeah. I'm still building my 6-star roster. When I think about what I want, for July 4th, that would be 6-star Nexus crystals. I want to expand my roster. And the other big item would be any sort of 6-star Awakening gem, which they have been super, super stingy with.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people would be very excited about the chance to, even if it's random, I'd be okay with that. Like I am so, it's so hard to awaken a 6-star that having any class of a 6-star gem in the inventory eventually is going to be very meaningful.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? The worth of that has dramatically gone down. I mean, Dan, let's be brutally honest. Not many people can pull a 6-star Doctor Doom and then within 2 weeks dupe him.
Oh no! I mean that's crazy talk.
Yeah,
that would be just a dream to be able to do something like that. I think it's very hard for your average 9 to 5 Thronebreaker to dupe 6 stars and move them up. I mean, if you're spending a lot on calves and you're at probably the highest levels of Alliance War, and your shard gain is a lot higher, then like you're getting more chances. But these 6-star Nexus crystals are super meaningful.
Yeah, that's where Summer of Pain, I think, is going to be something that players will look to like invest some time into.
For sure. Yeah, I think we're already seeing that. I think the structure of Summer of Pain, and we talked about this a little bit last week, where it's one fight you focus on for a week, is really, really good for players who don't maybe have the time to sit down and chart out 10 or 20 fights for something like the Gauntlet in a very compressed amount of time.
Yeah.
Summer of Pain's great because it's by the end of the first day you've probably got a half dozen to a dozen options. You could practice the fight over the weekend. And speaking of that, we got Summer of Pain week 2. Kind of a Mr. Sinister, a little bit of a callback to 6.2.2 Mr. Sinister. Have you taken this dude down yet?
Yeah, I just I want to say, like, have I got fond memories of this, of that particular fight? It's like, no, I don't have any fond memories of this, but so I just used Archangel in the end. There's a lot of people using different combinations, which is it's quite fun. I just got to the point where I was just like, I really can't be bothered to kind of do like an extensive like test of, okay, I've got to use, if I use this one, it's got shock immune, this to this, that one. Loads of people are using different champions. Longer fight, Doctor Doom works relatively well. Thing, I've heard of people using. Someone used Guardian. Shout out to Fist. I think he said about that. He was using Guardian for that particular fight. It's just kind of like finding a lot of times which is really cool. It's like finding the right champion to counteract it. Have you done it? Anybody you used that stood out?
I've just been testing. I think I'm gonna go for it with Doctor Doom. It is a longer fight, but it feels safer and more controlled.
Yeah.
I tried Sunspot. I know people have soloed with Sunspot. I've watched Seaton's video with Sunspot, and you have to be really careful. You can't dash back pretty much at all, or you're gonna be in some serious trouble. Especially because Sunspot loses his flare state and all his damage if he is shocked. And I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to be able to dodge that special one, and I think I'm going to go with Doctor Doom. Although I'll probably try Human Torch a couple times just to see if that works. I know Legacy used Human Torch. How many tries did it take you with Archangel?
I think it was 2. Just 2, yeah.
Was that a 565 Archangel?
That's a 565, yeah. The problem that arose is just really with the SP1 rotation. A lot of the times I was like going, okay, well, I got lucky because the neurotoxins suppressed the SP1, firing back any additional bleeds into my face. Which, let's face it, it's not particularly nice when it happens because they're like,
no, that would not be a good time.
So yeah, I think once that happened to me once. So like I think I managed to get like 8 neurotoxins at one stage, and everything was going really smoothly. I was happy. I then just a case of like waiting it out, and then got lucky with the SP ones not doing as just mentioned. But then with all of a sudden it's like, oh great, now I've got bleeds on me. Oh great, now it happened again. Oh great, I'm dead. So then it's just like revive and then kind of like go back in to do the remainder. And that was just like, I just waited out some SP2s. And yeah, I think it was just that I was on a low percentage of health by the end of it. It's not a fundamentally great way of dealing with it, but it's a way of dealing with it at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, at least with Archangel, you're going to do a lot of damage in a short amount of time.
Yes,
it doesn't feel bad. So if you're going to revive a couple times, you're like, okay, well at least we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. And that's just the thing with it. It's just is it a lazy way of doing it? I don't know. It's a counter really at the end of the day. I always say this: if it's stupid or it's considered to be stupid and it works, then it's not stupid.
With these rewards, you shouldn't feel guilty spending a couple revives every week.
Especially if they're
they are worth
ones. Especially if they're level ones.
Yeah, I mean, I end up selling some of those sometimes because if nothing comes up for me to use them on, it's sometimes you have them in the overflow. So, yeah, but it's interesting fight for sure. They went out of their way to exclude Quake from this week, and I wonder how much more of that we're going to see, because that was sort of the talk of last week, right? It's like, oh, we're going to be able to Quake this whole thing. Quake-a-Palooza, and it went the other way this week.
Yeah, which I'm really glad about. Like, that's one thing that I did say when I was talking about it was I would feel Kabam would fail Summer of Pain if they made it constantly about Quake being a viable option, because it just doesn't like. And look, and I think people were using other champions with week one, like, it's not saying this is a Quake thing, but if the typical Quake player is going Quake, and people going Quake, week on, week out, then it's like, this isn't Summer of Pain, this is Summer of Quake, as you said, Quake-Palooza. So it's like, it just doesn't ring any kind of like interesting from this. It doesn't spice things up. It doesn't create like an interesting summer event for pro Quake players. It's not meant to be that's not meant to be the narrative with it. But,
right, especially where it's so much of the Grandmaster's Gauntlet could be quaked as well.
Yes, exactly. That's another.
So it's good that they're kind of switching stuff up.
Oh, I tell you, I was going to say Grandmaster Gauntlet. You just said about Grandmaster Gauntlet, and I was just like, I'm still beaming from that. That event just like changed my entire roster.
Nice,
like ridiculous. I don't know if you heard what I got from it.
No,
No,
what did you get?
Well, I was saying about like not everybody could pull a Doctor Doom, which you know about because you were in that stream.
Yeah.
I duped him at the start of the week from the opening.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's 4.
Woo!
I got I awakened Magneto. I awakened Doctor Doom. I got a World War II Captain America, which I'm okay about. I think there could be a buff down the line for him. And I got Red Hulk for the first time as a 6-star. That was solid.
Oh yeah,
got
for sure.
Finally the tier 5 class Catalyst and Mutant that I've wanted. Rank 3'd Big Poco.
I did see your Apocalypse. Yeah, I did see that you rank 3'd Apocalypse. Welcome to the club.
It's a good choice. And
yes.
obviously in that 10 opening, I got that Awakened. I think I bumped my prestige up by 1,000.
Wow.
As a result of kind of like putting 175 or 174 signatures into Doctor Doom, and then the rank 3. It's like it's changed my that Grandmaster Gauntlet, which I had that big scuff and that big negative thing because I clicked right instead of going up. As soon as the stars aligned for that one, so that was something.
Very nice.
Right.
Very nice.
I shouldn't gloat because like you know
no,
yourself.
All good.
How's your luck been?
Well, unfortunately, I was gonna do it Tuesday night after work, and I got sick.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be doing
I couldn't do it, and just so I never I never did it. I had prepped and was waiting to do the run. Like work stuff just happened. It's like, all right, I'm gonna do it Tuesday night, and then I came from work. It was feeling terrible, and I just went to sleep.
Oh, well,
so I will wait until it comes back. Hopefully, it won't be like a year and a half from now.
That's what I hope as well. Like I for the ones, I would hope it would come back in 2021. I did ask Kabam, I didn't get any answer about that. But when they think it would return, like if it comes back next summer, then it comes back next summer. But it's like would it come back this year? Which would be nice. Like imagine if they put it out in December time, everybody's home, opportunity.
That would be perfect. Leave it, something like end of December, like maybe into early January, which is normally like a drier time.
Yeah.
December is usually crazy, but like first couple weeks of January are usually pretty low key because, they don't tend to push out a lot of stuff in January because their staff needs to, have holidays too.
Yeah, true.
So something like that could be a good holdover. It's like, hey, let's just bring this back. It's already done.
Yeah, I hope they do bring it back. I hope they bring it back this year so you get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on and talk about Summoner Showdown. This was a bit of a surprise. I mean, I thought that they might return this back, but then I was thinking to myself, right, well, where are we up to with COVID? Would people kind of like, would this be, more of a New York Comic Con thing? And I think this really gives an idea that maybe New York Comic Con's appearance from Kabam may not be a thing. I'm still waiting to find out. Did they respond or let you know whether or not they are going to New York Comic Con this year?
I haven't heard anything official, but I don't think they're going.
No, I wouldn't think so either.
It is happening, but it's going to be a little bit smaller scale and restricted as far as attendance goes.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things like they probably had to decide back in like January or February if they were going. Just do when it's not like say you got to get a booth. It's not just walking up and getting a table. Like if you're gonna do 20-foot tall Maestro statue and have it fabricated and installed, that takes some time.
Yeah.
So like they can't just decide to go on the fly because of the time it takes to prep their booth and staff it. I mean they probably bring like a dozen staff members and it's a big expense. So
yeah,
I wouldn't expect to see them at New York Comic Con this year. Hopefully in 2022 we'll all be back to normal. So it looks like Summoner Showdown will be online much as it was last year. I know this was an event that caused a lot of heartache in the community.
Yeah,
about some of the restrictions. I don't know that they've done anything different as far as the geography that is allowed to compete. I haven't gone country by country, but it looks roughly the same.
Yeah.
It's Thronebreakers for the real competition. That's the big thing. Of course, Thronebreakers didn't exist for the last one, but it is Thronebreaker restricted for the top level, which is actually competing for the big prizes in the tournament.
Yeah, it does seem that the narrative is again about the chase title is that Kabam want you to be more endgame players and make that jump from Cavalier to Thronebreaker, and that's gonna be I think it's gonna have to be more of a. I'm gonna have to revisit. I think my video about like how to make the jump from or how to go from Cavalier to Thronebreaker, or how to get what you need, because the problem is that. That push seems to be more that I think about want. They want you to be Thronebreaker if you're Cavalier, which is not necessarily a bad thing and not necessarily a good thing. It could be seen as a bad thing because you may not feel like you're kind of ready to do that, and maybe some of the content may be taking longer to grab that stuff as well. So you could be going like, right, well, if I'm able to 100% Cavalier on a monthly basis, then how many or how much volume of that Nexus am I going to get to a point of like luck, because it's still RNG. So objectives, content, permanent content out there. So you're gonna have to reassess, and that's kind of like the bad news. The good news is, as soon as you get there, the fields are a little bit greener, not ridiculously, but they are a bit better with daily crystals that you get. That kind of gives some very nice stuff, and that really would help you kind of like increase your rank of your champions or your roster, and allow your roster to go sideways rather than going, okay, well, I need more 6 stars at rank 3. Nah, you need more 565s if you've made that kind of like push very quickly.
Yep.
The event itself sounds cool. We revert back to some old champions like the Namelesses, which is the Nameless King Groot, Nameless Scarlet Witch Classic, and Nameless Hyperion. Which one didn't I not like? I want to say it was Nameless Hyperion.
I remember having a bad time with Nameless Hyperion.
Yeah,
and Nameless Guillotine was the other one that was pretty rough back in the day. Wasn't this like one of the Infinity War event quests?
Yeah,
it was. That these are from. So we've got 3. It's interesting. They're not taking a week off in between. I feel like last time I want to say they had a week off in between where they would kind of vet things. If you remember, there was a few people that got DQ'd along the way, but we always like it when they catch the cheaters. So.
Yeah.
That's actually okay. The interesting thing that they've changed this year is you only have 35 attempts at the fight each week.
Yes.
Which is a big change, because I feel like some of the top people were probably running that fight hundreds of times to get the perfect RNG as far as like the fight setup. There needs not going to be able to do that.
No, there needs to be like, and I don't know if he can compete, but there needs to be upwards of 50, because for an additional 15 attempts, you want to see a 2-star take on the content by Metal Sonic Dude.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, unfortunately he's not able to. He's not eligible for the big prizes yet.
No,
he's not 18. So
year majority in his area, which is it's like every
is 18.
Year.
Yeah.
COVID literally ruined his tournament.
I know.
Defense.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. It cost him 2 years of in-person New York Comic Con challenges. It's not good. It's not good.
I feel someone should make a meme of that, like
I know,
COVID versus Metal Sonic Dude or something.
I know, poor guy. It's rough. I know. His first thing is like, as soon as this got announced, he was just like, "All right, guys, just give it to me straight. Am I on the outside looking in again?" And unfortunately, that was the case. Looking through, we've got silver and bronze difficulties this year. If you just want to try no matter what. Silver, you can use a full team of 4 stars. Bronze is a full team of 3 stars. Those will be toned down fights, so we'll have to see how those are. And it's just profile picks. There's no big like rewards until you get to like the semifinalist stuff.
Yeah, that's when you start getting some sweet stuff.
Yeah, so I guess we will see Summer Showdown kicks off July 12th with Nameless King Groot.
Ooh. That's my boy.
Yeah,
King
that's
Groot.
Your boy, Rich. That's your boy. And we don't, speaking of your boy, maybe your boy will make an appearance in Summer of Pain later. We'll have to see if your boss rush King Groot is supersized for the Summer of Pain.
That's a good point. Well, the thing is, mine was kind of like, the one I set up was kind of weak. in that it would be because that was Dragon. It was Dragon's Week 1, wasn't it? The Rogue.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think mine will go in there because I reckon what Kabam were doing, they're going to look for particularly difficult fights, or maybe look at their stats of what, say, has been frustrating or whatever, and then kind of go like, boom, let's put it in. Not to say that they would put in a nameless Thanos, a collector, well, they might do. They might even put a Maestro in, but Maestro isn't that bad.
They might, and especially we've got a couple weeks before they start breaking out the Thronebreaker objectives as well, and then things are going to get really interesting.
Yeah,
because you're going to have to beat it a couple times to fulfill whatever the requirement is, and we don't really know what those are going to be. If those are going to be champion specific or like number of hits or time completed, or we're waiting to see how they actually structure those.
Those are definite concerns. Concerns. Okay, we better move on and talk about Loki episode 3.
MCU stuff, a couple of big MCU things this week. Obviously we're gonna talk Loki episode 3 with spoilers, so if you haven't seen Loki episode 3, pause this, go watch that episode and come back, and we'll join us for the breakdown. Episode 3, kind of a weird one. The episode name Lamentis, which is the planet they're trapped on. I think I titled it in the show notes, Loki and Sylvie versus the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Kind of, like I said, kind of a weird episode. I think felt the absence of Owen Wilson's Mobius.
Yeah.
I think we missed him a lot. It was, kind of a weird structure to an episode. Like, let's be honest, like, we know Loki is going to escape this planet because it's episode 3 and the show's called Loki. So it's, it's not so much the tension is from, tension needs to be from the apocalyptic event, which we know he's going to escape. It has to be the revelations or what we learn from him talking to Lady Loki or Sylvie or whoever she is. And I would say I had two sort of issues with this episode is, and again, this is with Owen Wilson's character, Mobius, being gone. We have two Loki variants, right? So they're lying to each other. So how does the audience know any of what's true?
That is the thing, isn't it?
It's very confusing to figure out. It's like, well, they're, if they're lying to each other, where is the thread for me to follow? Because even things like Loki says, like, you remember the adoption thing comes up. And spoiler alert, you're adopted. And she's like, oh, they told me. Well, is she telling the truth there? He's reacting like she told the truth.
Yeah.
But then what does he say? He's like, oh, no, they told me eventually, which is true in the sense that he found out totally on his own and confronted, Odin with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like there's still a lot of selective truth telling there.
Well, that's the thing about this being about seems to be like a bonding type thing, because they start the episode going like, oh, do you want to talk? Like, let's talk about, like, let's get to know one another. It's like, no, I don't want to. And then it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, as time goes on within the episode, it's like, yeah, well, we're going to find out more about one another. We're going to interact. We're going to have big theological discussions about life and the universe and what love is, and stuff like that. So it's like it's definitely like it's a roller coaster ride of an episode, but the purpose of it seems like it has purpose. But unfortunately, because of the situation that arrived prior to everything, their situation is bleak, weird, and gets more bleak as it goes on. But they're bonding at the same time. It's a lot of things going on, and I think that's why this is. I think a lot of people have said this is an incredibly not chaotic episode, but there's a lot going on to kind of go, what are they lying to one another as well? Other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, Loki's going to be an interesting show to rewatch once we learn more about where the truth lies, and to see. It's like, all right, well, what was a red herring and what were they slipping in that we missed because we didn't know where things were going. And the big takeaway from the episode is, of course, Sylvie revealing that everyone working for the Timekeepers is a variant, and I think that's sort massive. That's massive. And I don't know, with everything that was going on, like that really got the proper weight that it was due. That all of these, and Loki's saying, well, they don't know that, like that all these, Mobius and all his co-workers, so to speak, like they think they've always been there. So clearly the Timekeepers have exerted some sort of mental control or erased their memories. And what's going to happen when they find out that what they think is true is not true? Is that going to throw the whole multiverse into chaos?
Well, this is the thing that I'm now thinking after this episode is, what if Owen Wilson's Mobius is going to be bigger than he is? I mean, Mobius is what it is, but what if the twist is that Mobius isn't exactly Mobius and is actually a different type of character within is going to be a different character in the MCU, and that's going to lead into something else. And whether or not any other characters as well within the Minutemen are going to be, bigger than they are that we expect. We could be looking at, one could be Janus Mole, one could be like Adam Warlock, one could be, we just don't know who these Minutemen are. Maybe they've got a collar on them or something that's going to suppress their powers or their appearance in some kind of way. It's going to be massive when that reveal comes in.
Yeah, I don't think we can assume that anything as it appears with the Timekeepers and the Minutemen at the Time Variance Authority anymore. So yeah, this is it's about to get real interesting. But we had a cliffhanger. We don't even know how they're getting off the planet yet.
Yeah,
it's kind of a weird. It was a weird place to end the episode with Sylvie just kind of walking off in disgust, and Loki just being like, "Oh crap, yeah. we did it this time." But I mean, there's the same probability that the Timekeepers could just like port in and grab them and pull them out of that. And problem solved. So who knows? But we've got three episodes left, and I am very much looking forward to the Mobius Loki reunion, and for Loki to start working this angle of the Timekeepers are evil and controlling you guys, and seeing where that leads.
Yeah, because that's going to be the thing. We've still got the potential girlfriend of Kang the Conqueror that may or may not come into play.
Oh
a few people kind of like going like, well, could maybe this will, maybe this won't. But that's you just don't know. Is that going to be something that leads into something? You look at the way that WandaVision ended and kind of set up Wanda as being a the Scarlet Witch, and as well hearing one of the hearing Billy in what is, I don't know, some kind of trapped thingamajob. You've got the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Actually, I can't remember. What was at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier? Was it just...
well, it was setting up... I mean, obviously we've got Sam as Cap, but it also fully transitions John Walker into U.S. agent.
Yes, that. So that's not really something that could tie into something to a degree. But, that didn't really kind of touch on things like the multiverse. I don't know if Scarlet Witch will lead into what happens with Multiverse of Madness. Will Loki have that endpoint for the character? Will it set up stuff with the multiverse, or will it have a new twist that now will involve the likes of Sylvie, or will Sylvie say goodbye? Will Loki kind of go back to the normal time zone? Will it blow things up with the TVA? Will it set up things with Kang the Conqueror? There's so many directions this particular show can go in. So everything's totally unexpected. Yeah,
where is it trying to jump off to? Is it into the movies? Is it a season 2? Is it one of the other shows? We really don't know. where this is going.
Yeah.
With WandaVision, it was kind of obvious because we knew she was going to be appearing in Doctor Strange 2 before the series even came out. So we kind of knew that, with WandaVision, Wanda's making it through the series, and it's going to have something to do with Doctor Strange. So, but speaking of the movies, we got a new Shang-Chi trailer yesterday, a spicier trailer, a more traditional trailer.
Yeah.
I would say, like, the last one really didn't give much away of the plot, which is fine. I don't mind trailers that don't give too much away. But this one, full of teasers and full of reveals. Anything big for you?
Well, apart from the what is it? The addition of Abomination.
Abomination would be the big one.
Yeah.
Abomination is the big one, and they have confirmed that Tim Roth is coming back as Abomination in the She-Hulk show. So this could be the transition there.
Yeah.
It's interesting. A guy. We've had a few characters like Darcy Lewis who have been on the MCU bench for a long time, but Abomination we have not seen for more than a decade.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, what has he been doing? This would be good if, like, saying, like, okay, well, what has Abomination been doing? He's I don't know, shrunk down, or he's still got, like, something within him, still the Abomination, but he's been in this, like, fighting pit, because there's no, he can't be in the daylight with people, or he's, like, he's gone renegade, gone rogue, or whatever, and, that's where Shang-Chi might find him, or, like, is there, and then it's a case of, like, he then incorporates himself into stuff that's going on with She-Hulk. I think one of the big things that there's also another big thing that kind of like sort of confuses me, and that's the kind of the narrative of what the 10 rings are. Because you see that, first of all, I'm going to put in bunny ears, the Mandarin with the 10 rings as kind of bracier rings or whatever, gauntlet rings, and they kind of go up each arm. But then you see Shang-Chi in another scene have actually 10 finger-based rings on, or some finger-based rings that have power. So I'm kind of like, okay, so who's got the 10 rings? What are the 10 rings? Are 10 rings that can be given to anybody? Those are kind of questions that I have, and I require some answers to, I think.
Yeah, I mean, based on the title, you've got to think they are battling for control over the 10 rings. Just getting back to the Abomination thing, I think when we first watched the trailer, we were all assuming that Shang-Chi was fighting Abomination, but there's been some internet sleuthing and some zooming in, and that does not look like Shang-Chi.
That looks like somebody, because I just got an image up if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it looks like an astral
it could be Wong from Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Like it, obviously we see him from the back part, but it definitely looks like it's somebody. It's a sorcerer of some kind.
Yeah, it looks like there's a sling ring there, just where the way the hand is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be totally trying to trick us with this, but that is very interesting. If we're getting that kind of crossover here, if we're and I'm all for Wong getting some more screen time.
Yeah,
so
he's great.
Like let's go. And it would be cool to see him in this movie, because it's weird. Like, we've got Abomination, who's kind of like he's kind of like a science champ as we think of from MCU. Super Soldier Serum. You've got Shang-Chi, who's traditional martial artist. But then we've got the mystical element with the 10 rings. So could the magic of the 10 rings be attracting the attention of Doctor Strange and the sorcerers?
Yeah, maybe the Mandarin has some kind of like secret fighting pit. He has his own contest of champions.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
The other thing was we appear to see an underwater dragon.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly. So, of course, my brain goes to Fin Fang Foom. I don't know if there's other dragons in in Shang-Chi's story, but that's the one that I know about, the big one that I think about when I think about Marvel dragons. And if it's really Fin Fang Food, like that's absolutely nuts. Like we're getting to a point where like they're just not holding back at all. Like we're getting dragons, we're getting Abomination in fighting pits. Like this is getting crazy.
This is getting epic. It is.
This is getting epic. So I would say my hype level for this movie has greatly increased due to this trailer.
Yeah. Right, that's all of our kind of like MCU stuff to talk about. We've got a little bit of time to talk about Marvel Realm of Champions, which have added in some 4.0 update. Lots of stuff that seems to be added with that. And we've got the release notes we're gonna talk about, and you can check it out on their website if you want to. I still haven't played a lot of it in a long time. I think the transmog system is kind of important because it allows you to get something of a decent looking champion, so that's something that's a positive.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the main feature of this release. They've been talking about this for like 6 months, and it's finally here. It's a bit confusing how they describe it. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit simpler to understand once it's in game, as you have to like unlock the link, the looks.
Yeah.
And looks like you have to do that with blueprints, which can be found in daily objectives in the Summer's Journey.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this will solve the scrap heap Iron Man look issue. But again, like how is this going to work? Is it going to be super grindy? Is it friendly to do? I think this is one of those. This has been one of those pain points for players, so I'm glad to see it addressed. But I really need to see it in game to see if it addresses the issue as I would hope.
Yeah. Looks like there's a few new weapons being added in with Hulk wing shields. I guess that's really it with that. Weapon generation updates due to several restrictions placed on weapons generations in order to minimize contradicting weapon enhancement. We're increasing the amount of enhancements available for weapon generation at a higher rarities. Okay. And that is that epic weapons will now have a chance to generate attack power and special power in the last enhancement slot. Good. And what else? Gameplay improvements. Aiming indicators in combat have received visual improvements. That's good. New visual effects added to capture areas in Arena Conquest to make it more visible. Again, that's good. When using thrown weapons like Super Soldier's Vibranium Shield, the appearance of the thrown shield will match the weapon that is equipped. And AI. Added AI awareness for long duration abilities. AI will use Bodok Recovery Healing Aura when needed. Fixed a bug allowing players to hide from AI near some obstacles. And tune melee AI engagement when players are using long range or support champions. And there's a few other kind of things like new synergy sets being added in, and as well balancing to Thor's Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. And apart from that, yeah,
I mean the AI bot updates could be big if they're effective.
Yeah,
because I think we've been when it comes down to it, like the big pain point is arena matchmaking and bots in arena. And how often do you join arena, and if you get like say a storm bot and she acts like she's the Hulk and just charges in and decides that close quarters combat is suited for her and immediately dies. And then you're on a 3-on-2 and you get you lose the match. So if it's getting to the point where the bots start actually understanding what champion they are and acting accordingly, that could lessen some of that pain point. So I'm hoping that's what this means, but we will have to see. It seems like I think they were so concerned with in arena, like with the bots being too good, that they made them too bad.
Yeah, no, I had this question. This is when I decided to take a little bit of a backseat from Realm, and that was when I posed the question to Kabam about this situation of why aren't they good, and especially a lot of the times not everybody has the time to get together with people and play, and kind of like a lot of times you auto fight and then hope that the bots will play as equally as well as you are in order to get some battle rating, get some BRs, get some objectives done and that, because you don't want to be spending all day kind of like going back and forth. So I think their answer to that question was that the bots were toned down, or kind of like they've not been made, or their kind of gear rating has not been looked into, and it's like, well, that's not fair, and that's anti-competitive.
Too much of a disadvantage.
Yeah, so that's really that was my not nailing a coffin, because I do plan to do a return back video. I'm more interested with putting out contest content at the moment, and I will be returning back to the second channel, but I'd like to find a second game that I can then do, because I'm doing Marvel Future Revolution on this channel. There's not really much that I would kind of say we could have a talk about Marvel Future Revolution, but to be honest, there's not. Everything is just Twitter posts. There's not been no videos. The big announcement will be on the 29th of June. There's a big showcase, so we'll probably cover that.
Next week's going to be a big episode then, because we'll have release notes for.
Yes, we will.
Contest of Champions.
July 4th deals to deep dive.
Yeah. Oh boy, buckle up.
Yeah, big episode next week.
Big episode next week.
I think that's a good point to end on. Dan, even though feeling unwell, what do you think you might be getting up to next week?
Let's see. I got to do this Summer of Pain week 2 this weekend, and really for me, it's just a lot of content prep with Marvel Contest Champions release notes coming out. That means new champions, new side quest, and July 4th deals. That's a lot of stuff that I want to cover on the site. So I think I'm going to be writing a lot for the next week and week and a half. But I am making progress in Variant 6. I have 2 chapters to go. Been flying through that, man. Venom and Magneto just wreck everything. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, I think with a lot of stuff, like with variants, people are looking for like those champions that can really help you. And if you have a handful of really good villains for Variant 6, you're getting some awesome rewards. So I would definitely say, if you have a ranked up Venom and Magneto, and you're like maybe a uncollected or new Cavalier player, and you're looking for what to do next, take a look at Variant 6, because it is yours for the taking.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week. I probably think is I'll write stuff at the weekend. What I'm going to do, I do want to write together and prepare a few guides and stuff. I'm just finishing off a lot of projects and sponsorship stuff that I've got to get done. But apart from that, it's going to be a lovely week. Lots of new content to be talked about and prep. We've got another week of Summer of Pain. Thank you everybody for coming on by watching and listening to this 65th edition, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye.